Jordon, a disappointing afternoon that just seemed to go from bad to worse in the second half.
Yeah, to say the least. I think we just said the guys in there, it's probably the most kind of embarrassed we've been as a group, especially here. Look, it's been well documented, we've had a great home run for a long time, but sometimes when them runs end, it's hard to get straight back on it. We've seen that last week, and look, today, you defend and give away goals. We're having to score 2 or 3 each game to try and win a game or get something in a game, and that just catch up with in this league. You can't do it. We've said it all season. We've reacted well to that at periods, but we're going through another sticky period, which of course you're always going to have. But yeah, just not giving yourself that chance. And don't get me wrong, I think for 55 minutes an hour, especially the way the first 10-15 minutes that second half went. But again, then that's not looking at defence. That's looking at attacking side. When you're on top, you need to score. You need to put the ball in the back of the net, or you're going to get punished going another way. And yeah, look, Seth's chance at 1-0 where he rattles the post, and that's how fine a margin it is. But then you can't go and concede 3 goals and capitulate like we did. So yeah, look, bitterly disappointed. Didn't see it coming in terms of conceding as many goals and losing at home like that. You can hear the frustration all round, and I completely get it. But I thought, yeah, it just went flat after that. And of course, like you say, it went from bad to worse. In the period of time we conceded the goals, it just felt bang, bang, bang. And look, that's what Stenny do to you. We said it twice, that's the 3rd time now we played them this season, and they've been absolutely clinical and ruthless, and that's why they're challenging the top of this division every year now. So it's a really sore one to take on the chin, and look, it's difficult for the guys. Even the subs were going on there, they're going on to hide into nothing because they're 3-4-0 down. But look, we'll look at it right from the top like we always do. We'll get a good analysis in this week. It'll be a long couple of weeks now to play in the league, but we've got such an important game here against Morton next week, which is again up another level. A full-time championship team who are going well, who again have had their number here this season. So yeah, look, bitterly disappointed, of course, gutted, embarrassed with and for the guys that's occurred out there on our home pitch where we've been so proud to have the record of. But yeah, there's nothing else for it but pick yourself up and try and analyse it, try and help them, and try and get going again.
Maybe a bit of a positive, a bit of fight back there. Shanks obviously gets his 3rd goal in 3 games, and boost for him. I thought he played pretty well, to be honest, worked off scraps, but I know Buchanan's probably one of the best defenders in this league, and I thought Shanks played him really well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, Buchanan will be delighted because they went away with a 4-1 victory, but I think yeah, the way Shanks has been all season, he's adding goals no matter what type of game it is. I feel sorry for him because that's two consolation goals he's had, really, apart from the one last week. It was obviously put us ahead, but he keeps chipping them away, which is good. But again, when it goes 4-1, you just want a wee bit more from us. Instead, they do what they do. Their game management was different class, and they just broke the game up. Whether that's winning free kicks, whether that's strong clearances, whether that's defending their box, still threatening our box. So we need to look at all them things. Like these teams are real examples of a level we need to get to. It's sometimes a reality check. We believe absolutely fully in that group. We've obviously got a couple of key experienced players maybe out, but or we're off it today. And when you have an off day in this league, you're punished. So hopefully we'll get a couple of them back for next week, and we'll see how it is. But yeah, look, delighted for Shanks in terms of another goal. It keeps his wee strikers run going, and he's actually got a great return this season. So look, that's not an issue in terms of our striker scoring, but we need to share the goals. We just said in there, who scored a goal out with Shanks in the last 3-4 weeks, and no one has. So we need to step up. We need to put the ball in the net from elsewhere, because when you're giving goals away, you need to put them in.
Let's speak at Cammy before the game. Obviously, he wasn't in the squad today. Wee bit of an issue with him. Any updates on how long it'll take him? And obviously, Kieran had his operation done this week as well.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Look, Cammy's as honest as they come, and has trained this week. I think he was feeling it since the Hamilton game. It was his ribs, so it's a difficult one to manage or to determine how serious it is. But he was honest enough to put his hand up and say he couldn't give 100%. As desperate as he is to be involved. So you lose him, a key player. Steely's not really trained for 2 weeks with his calf, but just try to get through Saturdays. That's why we took him off there, just to try and protect him. Yeah, Dunny had his op, obviously Dunny, but we spoke about him enough. I think if anyone could have said they would have pitched a Peterhead team without him this season, it would have been a disaster. Again, that's a credit to the likes of Flynn, who's come in and done well. But yeah, of course, any team in the league will miss Dunny. He's had his op. We'll wait on a full review before we put any timescale on that. Great to have Pete back on the bench today. It was always the intention not to really use him. He's maybe 1 week away from being fully involved, but he has been training full now. So yeah, these experienced guys are key for us. But then you look through our team, and if the likes of Jason and Andy aren't at it when these guys are missing, then it makes it even harder for us. And then Dill picks up a soft booking that puts his game in jeopardy. So that's right through the core of the team, where you have the experience in the drive and the leadership that we need to get out of the slight blip we're in.
Difficult game next week, as you've kind of mentioned already, against a Morton team. Played us already. I think we probably underestimated how good they were a wee bit in that first game. I'm assuming that we'll be taking them a lot more seriously this time.
For sure, look, this cup's so important to the club and to lower league clubs to try and get through the next round and at least be in the hat with the bigger guys. Without doubt, we'll be looking at them in detail. I think our squad is a lot more settled, even though we just spoke about injuries. I think our squad's a lot more settled than it was that first day we played them. But we need to come up with something different because it's not been working. With what we're doing, we're being exposed. We're giving goals away against teams that are clinical. You got the levels you get against better attackers. And like I say, Martin in the Championship in full time and challenging in that league. So yeah, we'll fully look at it. As I say, we'll always look at ourselves. Myself, Strax, and Jamie will look at it in detail. Try and come up with a plan that'll make us competitive. Because at the end of the day, we fancy our chances here of being competitive against any team, at a reasonable level. So we need to get back on it. There's nothing else for it. We can't sit and feel sorry for ourselves. The fans or whatever are rightly to have their moans and groans. Nobody comes to a home game expecting to beat 4-1. But we need to get back on it. The best way is to react. So yeah, we'll get thinking. I'm sure that our brains will not stop from now till next Saturday. But yeah, we'll try and come up with the best solution with the guys we've got through today and looking at it next week, because it will be difficult to write and we can't give team goals and we can't only have chance scoring goals. So we'll look at it and see where we are and try and put some sort of positive spin on it coming back here next Saturday.